dear Bagginses and Boffins.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we are talking about something again surprising that came into our midst. But the new Lord of the Rings movie is reportedly in development about the fall of Morgoth. So this is interesting that we've had all this commotion regarding the Amazon series that's coming out. We have the War of the Rohirrim animated movie coming out, and then we also potentially have a third project, a movie about the fall of Morgoth.
Really?
Yeah, so this is it's interesting because I have not heard this talked about very much anywhere else. It's actually kind of a hard article to find, but it sort
It's
of
actually
just
it's dated January 16th.
Yeah.
It's pretty old.
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, where did this kind of information go?
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, so I am just interested to see if there's a follow up sometime soon about this because, yeah, it's been almost a year. We're gonna come up on a year pretty shortly here. But it's interesting because it is a movie, and so it wouldn't necessarily be done by Amazon. It would be by Warner Brothers because they hold the movie rights. But again, we also know that the Tolkien estate is very integral in how they dole out different projects to different groups and how much oversight they have. And so maybe there was some issue early on in talks. Maybe this is completely dead, but I just wanted to talk about it because I think it would be interesting.
So two different groups one making movies, one making a show.
That's right. That's right. Now, the thing is, the show, it's not clear where we are in the show. And so maybe that's also part of the talks is that they're waiting to see what the show talks about and how they because one thing that Tolkien Estate has said time and time again is they want everything to still fit. They don't want any rewriting of anything that's already been out there. So you can't just come across and say, oh, this didn't happen, even though we've seen it in another movie. So they have to make sure that this will fit with the Amazon series, as well as the original trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy. All of these projects have to fit into one coherent narrative, which I like. I think that's really important, and I do like that they are making sure that follows through.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the other problem with this particular type of project, and maybe I'm gonna get some flack for this, but I don't think a lot of people have read the Silmarillion. I just feel like people often lie that they've read it and that they don't actually know what's in it, and so there might just not be enough of a public audience that is really pushing for something like this because they don't truly know what is in store for them. With the original trilogy, I mean, obviously at the time people didn't know, but because it was done in such a beautiful way that people flocked to it, and it was a huge success. But a lot of people before the project was in theaters didn't truly know what they were going to be in store for. So that's why the movie was when it was first being created, it wasn't a huge, massive like, oh, this is coming like we see with the MCU right now. It was sort of like, oh, they're going to do some sort of fantasy film. It's going to be kind of fun. And then it just blew up. And so they might be able to piggyback on that kind of, like, it's tied to Lord of the Rings in some way, but I think there's just not enough knowledge out there about that particular period in Middle-earth lore that people are just not going to truly gravitate towards it like they will with something that has a bit more of a tie into the original trilogy, like we saw with The Hobbit. Like The Hobbit, obviously you have character overlaps, which I think is really helpful in bringing the audience over into your new movie or TV show, which is why the Amazon show is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm always interested to see if there's going to be other new projects coming out that focus on Middle Earth and Lord of the Rings. And again, with this one, you're going to have very little overlap. In fact, I don't even think Morgoth by name is mentioned in the original trilogy. They may mention Morgoth in The Hobbit. Like in that scene where you've got Elrond, Galadriel, and Gandalf facing off against like this dark shape in Dol Guldur, I think they are. They're somewhere. I forget where they actually are in that movie, but they're facing off against a dark shape. I think they might mention Morgoth there, but I don't know. I have to go back and take a look.
They do say a Balrog of Morgoth.
They do, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so there we go. We do have some mention of it, but other than that, even
No,
with
there-
that mention, it's that name itself isn't gonna make people, super keen. You're gonna have to give them a bit more, I think. Obviously, people who are fans of Lord of the Rings are gonna watch it. It's more about getting a wider audience, the way that the original trilogy and The Hobbit was able to conjure up, and then obviously Amazon series should really help bring it once again back into the mainstream. And then we'll see about these movies and how they
Are you-
actually.
Morgoth might be the. Could he be the anti? Oh no, we said it was. He was gonna be the. Sorry, I'm losing my words.
Like, oh, you think he's going to be
Uh,
in the Amazon series as the main
Could he
villain?
be? Could he be, or would it be Sauron?
So yeah, we're gonna, we're gonna see a lot more of that coming out. I think by the end of the year, because there is speculation. We're not really sure yet. It's either going to be Morgoth or Sauron. We just don't know, who, and at what point. Because there might also be time jumps. That's the other thing. So you might have Morgoth and then Sauron with some time jumps, and that's also going to potentially be a weird bit of confusion that people might have to overcome. So yeah, having a movie maybe focus on just the one villain might be helpful, because then people will have the downfall of the two main villains, and then the Amazon series can kind of touch on both. Maybe that's a good way of going about it, and that's why something like this would be helpful, because as huge fans of the original trilogy, we really have no connection to Morgoth at all. We're all about dealing with Sauron and Saruman and that kind of stuff. So
Yep.
this actually might be very helpful for everyone involved, not just the general public, but even Lord of the Rings fans as well. But anyway, I think that's it for this one. Just like a quick little snippet of what is potentially in the works, and we'll just keep our eyes out to see if there's any more information in the next several months.
See ya.
I regret to announce this is the end. I bid you all a very fond farewell.